Thanks, Jamie. Okay, hi folks. This is getting to be a habit. And towards the end, I will be asking you for your opinion as to how many of these we want to do going forward, how many per week. So you'd be thinking about that. And I'm going to give you two options only. You will either say one or two, but not yet, not yet. We'll try to make this happen as we have been for the last few days, which is give me an opportunity to update you on some things, and then we'll open up for questions, if that's okay. We are missing two very important folks. They are on their own calls now. Maria is meeting with the VCAAs, and Noea was meeting with the VCSAs, and I'm sure they'll come in if we're still going and they're done with their meeting, so I apologize for that. Okay, the world is changing hour by hour, day by day, and so you were part of the vast majority of folks listening to the governor's message yesterday, which pretty much mirrored, what, I'm getting these things, what? Oh no, what? Okay, never mind. I'm getting things on my phone at the same time. I can't keep up. The governor's message pretty much mirrored what Mayor Caldwell said for us in Oahu. And the president of the university, his message is still the same, that we will do whatever we can to support the students to complete their semester. We have changed the face-to-face classes to online for as much as possible, and those folks that need to be observing students complete competencies will be doing so in alternate means or at alternate times. And so I need to thank all of you for your creativity, for your dedication to your students, to your colleagues, for all of the support staff who are doing everything they possibly can to help learning go forward as best as we can under these conditions. It is highly stressful. It is very anxiety causing on a personal level for all of us trying to maintain our families as well as trying to maintain our lives. And for those of you who are really worried about my hygiene, I got a delivery of a 6-pack of Charmin. I'm good. I'm good for the duration. So now let me update you. We are going to strongly encourage, and that if there's underlining in Zoom, I'm underlining, strongly encourage the faculty and the staff who can possibly work from home to work from home. Do not come to work if you can make arrangements with your supervisor to do your work from home. Do not ask your students to come to school for whatever reason. Every time you step outside your house and interact with people on the street, you are putting yourself at risk and therefore putting your family at risk. So please do not come to work if you can. Stay home to do your work. I expect there will be more folks who will be requesting to work from home. There are forms available, and within 5 days of having that form approved by your supervisor, you are to submit a work plan. I would encourage all of you to do that. The UH system will be coming out with some much more particular and specific and explicit instructions for how to apply for leave during these times. There will be something called COVID-19 code, which would be a different kind of leave. The instructions are going to be complicated, and I don't have them right now, so that will be coming to us from OHR. Okay, having said that, we will be limiting spaces on campus. The campus is open. We are delivering our services remotely. Folks that need access to their offices or their workspaces will have that access. But here is the plan going forward. Anyone who needs to come on campus to perform their work or to do their business needs to sign in at the library, okay? That means if you need access to your office, we want you to sign in at the library first. Why are we asking to do that? First of all, is to know who's on campus. Second, to know which areas might be impacted and need to be sanitized. We will be limiting the bathrooms at this moment. We are considering keeping open the bathroom in Lama and keeping open the bathroom in Ilima, which are sort of central on opposite sides of the campus. We are also going to be consolidating access to computers, student access to computers. We will be consolidating in the library so that the BLT students and the new media arts students will have access. This is what we're working on. We'll have access to their particular computers that have the specialized software. We will be setting 3 of them in each case. 3 new media arts and 3 BLT computers will be set up in the library so that we can limit exposure and we can monitor exposure. The administrators will be serving as library monitors for the duration up until right now we're looking at April 30th. So the library staff will be reduced dramatically and the administrators will be taking shifts in the library. What else? Faculty, we are going to allow the scheduled tests to be delivered as scheduled up until I think it's April 3rd. After that point, there will be no testing in the testing center. Again, this is to minimize contact with individuals and to minimize asking students to come in from home. So there will be no more tests taken at the testing center. The instructional designers have been asked to spend some time in the next couple of weeks to be thinking about alternatives for proctored exams. I must tell you also that the original request to have ProctorU delivered and supported by the not by the campus, but by the system is not going to be supported, is not going to go forward. ProctorU has tripled the price per exam, and there's no way that anybody can afford that right now. So alternatives to proctored exams and alternatives to testing center will need to be developed, and the instructional designers will be assisting with that, as well as the folks who are in DE. They will be also working. Okay, I'm gonna go through my notes. Okay, so faculty who need access or staff who need access to their workspaces will be asked to sign in at the library. If you are a faculty or staff member and you have an external door to your building and you don't have that key to the external door to your building, you can call security at the place where you check in, and you can ask them to meet you at your office and they will open the external door for you. Okay, what else? Okay, that one, that one, that one, that one. Okay, those faculty, such as department chairs and the faculty who are fully released from instruction, we would ask you to do the work request, the work at home request, and the work plan to cover your duties and responsibilities that are not instructional. If you are an instructional, otherwise an instructional faculty, but you've been reassigned to do other work. Okay, let's see. I think that's it for now for me. Any administrator online who would like to add to what I've just outlined?
Hi, this is Brian. Just to clarify, if you are an employee who needs access to your space, we're asking you first to go to the library and sign in, and then on the way to your space or what have you, you can contact security and then ask them for access. Now, if you're in a situation in which you either have that building key, the main building key, and your office key, again, we're kindly asking that you sign in at the library and then you can go to your location If you are in a situation where it's just one door, like for example, up at Ilima, there's one main door to every office. Again, same thing. Please sign in and then go to your location. Thank you.
Naval, anything you'd like to ask?
No, I think the only one would be about the request to work at home for instructional faculty, which there is none.
Correct. But if instructional faculty have been released from instruction, then they should do a request to work from home.
Okay.
Lisa,
Question.
anything you want?
Sorry, this is Dave. Question on this, on the signing in. Is there any other, instead of physically going somewhere to sign in, is there any other way that we could notify or indicate that we're on campus? I mean, and not that everybody has the same, situation, but down here in Olapa, we can sneak in and out pretty easily without much contact. So it just feels a little strange to walk all the way across campus to a library where there might be other people and have to sign in when I could send an email to somebody, or anybody could send an email, sorry.
Okay, let's think about that for a while. Thank you for the question. And there's also, I see people are already asking questions on the chat about, do we sign out? I think we'll need to think about this a little bit more. If people have alternative ways, I think so. We'll need to think about that, but thank you for asking. And we'll make sure that by the time tomorrow comes along, we are going to have this effective starting Friday morning. So tomorrow is business as usual. No need to come to the library to sign in for tomorrow. We need to figure all of these things out.
Well, while we're on that subject, it's still a little confusing to me exactly where we are in the mayor's proclamation or the governor's proclamation of in higher education. I've heard the reference to education, and I've heard the reference to public and private schools, but I'm just trying to understand if, and I don't know how this is all supposed to be enforced, but when I'm coming to work tomorrow and there's a blockade or something stopping people, I don't know, I'm just being kind of facetious. And all of a sudden they say, where are you going, son? And I say, well, I'm going to the community college. Has it been determined exactly, what our status is? I mean, I know we all think we're essential. Just curious what the designation is. What is the designation that has come from state government on that?
The label we were given was essential business, higher education to provide distance education. So those folks that are necessary to continue providing distance education are essential to the learning. And again, that was the president's call, was to make sure we can get as many students as possible to finish off the semester. But I am strongly encouraging people to stay at home to do that work, if at all possible.
And Louise, this is Lisa. I'd really like to emphasize, I don't think it's understood what the goal is. The goal is to mitigate as much as possible people being in the public. If there are people who have a hard time determining what they can do from home to continue to do their job, please reach out to your administrator who can help you. But we're trying to take really strong and active steps to keep everyone home, to keep you safe. And not only is this for you, this is for families, this is for our students, this is for our community. And I can't stress enough how much you really need to look at how you do your job. And most everyone here, majority of the people here, can do their job from home. It might alter the way you do things. You might have to look for new ways and be inventive, but I can't stress enough, it's not about focusing on signing in and signing out and how close you can can get into access to your facility because of where you can park and those types of things. That's not what this is about. It's about staying at home. It's about being out of the community. It's about not spreading this disease. You could be someone who carries this disease without knowing it, and potentially impacting in a really negative way our community. So I can't stress that enough. The goal is stay home.
Thanks, Lisa. I'm seeing a lot of the chat about trying to figure out a way to minimize contact, so not asking people to come to the library to sign in. So give us some time to think about that and work on that, and we'll make sure that that information gets out to you tomorrow. I appreciate the pointing out that, you know, you're asking us not to come in and do stuff, and then when we do come to campus, you're asking us to go to a place with other people to do that. So point well taken. We'll figure something out for you guys. Accuplacer placement testing. Right now, this is what Maria folks are discussing. I understand that the other 3 Oahu campuses are not going to be doing accuplacer testing for this period of time. So we will need to figure something out about how students are going to get or be able to get into their English and math classes. Registration will continue as on schedule starting April 6th. We don't want to put up barriers to students, but if there are no more accuplacer testing, we will need to figure something out. And Maria folks are going to be looking at what alternatives are possible for students. Okay, a lot of these are about testing, I mean, not testing, but signing in at the library. Okay, you can stop. We will consider alternatives. Working from home is not an option for all of us, understood. There are some folks whose services need to be done on campus, but I would strongly encourage you to think through what you can possibly do remotely on the telephone or through email rather than face-to-face. Do talk to your supervisor or your program administrator about the options that you have. Again, we are going to be continuing tomorrow as we have yesterday and as we have today. So measures will come online on Friday. Thursday is a holiday. Don't come at all, please. Stay home with your families.
Sorry.
You're like from the Twilight Zone right now.
I know.
Let's see. The sign-in process is not for reporting purposes. It is so that we have an idea of where the spaces are on the campus, who has been where. In case there's an outbreak, we know where people have been.
Trying again, test. Okay. I'm sorry, there was another microphone in the room. Louise?
Yes.
I had a question, and I ask you to refer back up to the very top where Annie had entered some questions. We have student assistants who need hours, and there's nothing that we know we can give them to do from home. However, I am hearing clearly what Lisa is saying, and that's kind of what the Surgeon General is saying. We should be sheltering at home. Any suggestions as to how we would manage that?
There were some creative kinds of things that were suggested by other folks on other campuses, like ask your student workers to go through your websites and give you some feedback on the organization and how it speaks to students. So if there are ways that you can use student talent, even though that might not be their job right now, the president is very sensitive to making sure we can continue to compensate the students for work. So be thinking about what they could possibly do for you from home. Let's see. Deneen has been answering some questions about DSSO, and there are ways, I understand, to adjust the timing of tests for particular individuals so that if someone needs time and a half on a test, you can do that for that particular student without impacting anybody else's time on the test. Deneen, I don't know if you're here or listening. Oh, no, she just says, okay. So if there are tests that have been scheduled between now and April 3rd for the testing center, they will be conducted at the testing center. The testing center is not taking in any new appointments for tests.
LP, I think Sheila has a question. She sent it a couple of times.
I think I just answered it. Did I not, Sheila? Your dent tests? Registration, well, I don't even, what is the A2 test? What is that? It's not a test? Where, so Sheila, can you unmute Sheila's mic so that we can get what it is Sheila wants to know more about?
Hi. No, the RAD applicants are coming in to pay for their A² test. And we're going to try and find out if those can be done remotely, but they come in person to turn in their applications for the test. And
They mail the application?
Some of them have been mailing, but some actually walk it in. And I don't know how to communicate with, because I don't know who's applying.
Right, you don't know who they are.
Yeah. So, and on the application, it says that we're collecting them through March 31st.
And where are they supposed to hand them in?
At my office, Kawila 122.
Are you going to be at your office?
I have been every day, and I was going to. So Brian, please don't close the restroom.
It's not so far to go to Ilima.
I know, but
You have to plan that one.
Well, I'm supposed to be here because both of my staff are working from home, so I'm it.
Yeah, I think Sheila, if you need to be
Yeah.
there to receive tests and there's no other way for them to get there and they're crazy to get it in, I know RAD is really important. So
Yeah.
you know, if they can slide it under the door or, you know.
Well, that was my question. Do we have a drop spot someplace where we could put a sign up and tell students to drop that in a drop box somewhere?
Actually, so when they come in with their cashier's check or money order, I make a copy of it for them. I timestamp it. They keep the copy so that they know that this is when I signed up for it. And the test date selection is on a first come, first serve basis. So I need to give them a copy of when it was actually received. Sorry. It's an arcane.
Yeah, let's have an offline conversation about how we can maybe change up that process, because yeah, that's not safe for anybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
There are still some questions about DSSO accommodations. If they're needing a quiet space, would home be a quiet space for most students? I don't know what anyone's home situation is. If there are questions specifically about DSSO, could you give Deneen a call tomorrow? That would be good. There is some new information, Darsh, about the leave system. Can Darsh's phone be, can he be unmuted?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. So the online leave system has been updated with COVID-19 work from home leave type to allow university to capture dates that all the employees have been authorized to work from home. So if your supervisor has approved your request, you can log in and submit those dates, and then we can start adding it to the leave system. It's there on the leave system right now.
I would just hesitate on that, Darsh. We were told this morning that there would be more changes to that online leave for COVID-19, that they were going to do some more changes today so that we don't want people to go in there right away.
Okay, okay.
But that it will be possible to go in, but they were going to make some changes, so hold off.
Okay, so hold it off. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Let's see, what else? Not everyone has a quiet space with computer in their home. Yes, I understand. And I'm guessing that we'll need to figure out something for that. I cannot imagine that there's a whole lot of people who might be in that. And Deneen would be the best person to help us identify who might need some extra attention to make sure about that. Susan J, I believe that the contracts that we had, and I'm sorry that Maria's not here on the line with us. The ProctorU contract that we had for this is also subject to the new pricing, is what I understand. It's still available, but it's like $30 per test, I believe.
Alrighty, that's all I wanted to know, because some of our students really depend on it, and if they want to pay the price, I just want to make sure it's still available. Thanks.
Right. You might also want to think about other ways of testing your students, and I know if anyone can do it, you can.
Oh, absolutely. That's already in the works. Thanks.
I bet. There's a question about blanket policy, then to have each of us contact DSSO individually. I don't know which way Deneen would rather have this work. I'm not going to be the one to have a blanket policy on how to accommodate students when the needs are different for different ones. And I don't know how many students are in need of that, of extra accommodations. If we work from home, does this waive the liability just in case there is a breach? Liability? Carl?
Information security is going to be really critical as people work from home. Will it waive the liability of being responsible if there is an information security breach? The answer is no. Every individual working from home must take into account information security. A previous announcement went out to the CAC list from me regarding information security. I will be sending out another notice probably through the announce system so more people get it. You'll see some redundancies, but these redundancies are in place because I need to make sure, the university needs to make sure that everyone clearly understands what their responsibilities are. What is going to be sent out has best practices in it. I strongly suggest you follow those best practices. If you have any quick questions, feel free to contact me or ITS at the help desk. I'll answer that other question. It has to do with if there is a breach, can you get disciplined, fired? If there is a breach, a formal investigation will be undertaken. What the outcomes of that formal investigation will be determined on a case-by-case basis. Clearly understand that there are some breaches that we as a college and a university must report to the legislature. Those are the most serious, and any consequences coming out of that will be handed back down to the university, to the specific campus, and to the chancellor to act upon.
Thanks, Carl. There's a question about, are we tracking students and faculty who are presumptive or test positive for COVID? It is not our job nor our responsibility to be tracking people. That is the responsibility of the Department of Health. Let's see. Okay, so Deneen is sort of ground zero for the students who need special accommodations. So far, she's reporting, as she just put up on the chat line, that things are quiet. You may want to think through your approach if you do have a student with disabilities in your class right now. And before you get to that point where you have to be doing some online assessments, timed or otherwise, you may want to think through what you're going to do and give Deneen a call. I'm sorry, Deneen, to put this on you, but I would much prefer they talk to you than talk to me, because I'm not the right one to give them advice on that one. What services are available as of today for students? Food, library. The library will be open. The food pantry, I believe, is open today, but that access will be limited going forward, I believe. We'll make sure that tomorrow we have available all the information on what's going to remain open for services. As we said, the services will be delivered remotely, so students can still get reference librarians help. They can still get access to online resources through the library. The library facility will be open, the computers will be accessible, and testing will be available until April 3rd. Yeah, and he said second floor will be closed. Again, we're trying to minimize people coming to campus. We're trying to minimize people gathering on the campus while still assisting them to finish the semester. It's a dance, I admit. It's an every day making adjustments as best as we can. So I appreciate you bringing up all of these very important questions about what we're doing and why. Jamie's got something up there. There is a website to help people know where things are, especially our students. So make sure you copy paste that one and send it out to your students. And thank you, Jamie, for the website and all of that great information that's up there and updated. As every site updates, we don't do much without checking. Other questions? I'm not sure about contractors. Brian, do you have any sense of whether we're going to be asking contractors to check in anywhere?
Yes, we have a communication going out to all contractors that they need to provide us 72 hours notice before coming to campus, along with a individual safety plan for their respective employees who are here. The big issue is essentially I want to make sure that those contractors or the employees coming in for the vendors and contractors understand, are aware of washing hands, or they're carrying hand sanitizer, things of that nature, because we don't necessarily have the product to give to them to wash their own hands or sanitize their own hands. So 72 hours is the short answer.
Are we still getting mail? Dropping off mail, collecting mail?
So right now we're working on a mail service plan. It looks to be like there will still be some. It'll be a reduced level of mail service, but it'll still be going on. Don't quote me on this yet because we haven't come up with a final plan, but it looks to be it's going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday for mail service.
Right. Students who don't have internet access or data plan, the library is open for those Coco, so they can always come to the library to do their work. They will have the opportunity to withdraw, and I believe that the student affairs folks are considering a withdrawal deadline of April 30. That is under discussion right now. We want the students, oh, sorry, Noel, you're back.
I was just going to confirm what you said. I just jumped off the CASAL Zoom meeting, but April 30th is going to be the approved deadline for the late withdrawal. It does affect a lot of other things, especially for our campus, because the last day to withdraw also coincides with the last day to request credit, no credit, as well as a last day to request an audit. Those we still got to have more conversations about, but for right now, the only thing that's been approved for all the campuses is the last day to withdraw is going to be April 30th.
Okay, there's no refunds are being discussed at this time. So if anybody is talking to students and saying, why don't you ask for a refund, please don't encourage them to come and ask for a refund, because right now the answer will be no. There are still people who come on the campus. There are signs up, I don't know if you've seen them, that say the campus is closed, but right now we don't have anyone who is checking people's papers and saying, show me that you belong on this campus. We do want to keep people out of the buildings. We cannot stop them walking on the campus. Let's see.
Can I add to that,
Oh,
Louise?
you can, of course.
So the question is, who is anyone telling them? The answer is yes. You know, myself, security, Jacob. So 4 of us are telling them, but really this is it's an all campus responsibility. Just like if we see somebody smoking in the middle of the Great Lawn, you know, we just need to be courageous enough, brave enough to protect our own home here and tell, you know, folks, you know, I'm sorry the campus is closed. They have not been upset. Nobody has been upset. They all understand what's going on. And they just walk to the other edges or to the outer edges and to the sidewalks. So it is all of our responsibility, please, to just let folks that know that it's closed here.
Okay, yeah, there was a question about grading, no grade, no. Grading, no grading. No, that's not gonna work. Credit, no credit. That decision has not been made yet. It's still under discussion. It requires a lot of finagling, so they're still talking about that. Let's see. Computers available to continuing ed students? I imagine so. Our students are our students, but there are no continuing ed classes going on that I'm aware of. I may not be having all the right information on that. So there was a student who was turned away from the library today. I understand that was taken care of. It's a miscommunication and I apologize. Everyone's still trying to get everything organized. We're not closed. We are offering our services remotely. We are closed to the public, not to our employees and not to our students. What now? Asking about air conditioning? Brian,
The plan is to turn off all the AC and all of the unused spots on campus. There are certain areas that will remain on. And obviously, the library is one of those areas, but it's going to be used anyway. NIO is another one, but NIO is under construction. But those 2 buildings generally are on. We also have a feeding program going on in the cafeteria, so they will have AC because the kitchen will be pretty hot.
okay, Noea, you want to clarify the question from Barbara?
Yeah, so I was just trying to type to the chat box, but basically, so normally the last day to withdraw with a W is Friday, March 27th. We're moving that to Thursday, April 30th.
And the change in grade?
So that one I'm not sure about because every campus is different. And basically looking at our calendar, the last day to withdraw also coincides with the last day to request a grade change option. So I probably need more clarification before giving the final word on that. Also, I think to go back to some other issues going on campus is with the communication. Again, just be careful with the language that we use. Our campus is not closed, but instead say that the campus are still offering services through remote services or alternative forms. I think it sends the wrong message. And I think people then start to get confused as to if they can either get access to a counselor or an advisor or to various spaces. So a lot of that is just with the language you're using. When we say it's closed, for people not familiar with either our websites or all of that, they take it as we cannot get access to these places or resources. So again, campus is not closed. We're just offering alternative modes through remote services.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, food pantry, you can still take your students in tomorrow. That's fine. We're going to be implementing all of this starting Friday. More questions, more concerns?
Hi, LP, it's Brian. I just wanted to let everybody know that the directions for the leave, if you are under an approved work from home plan, email just came out from the system about 10 minutes ago. So just to be clear, first you would work with your supervisor, work on a approved work from home plan, or I'm sorry, request, and then a plan within 5 days of that request being approved. Let's assume that you are going to be in the office or you're not going to be in the office, and every day that you're out, you would sign out similar to vacation or sick leave, and you would choose COVID-19 work from home. And it is very, very important that everyone who is at home does this, and there's a big reason why. What we're hoping for, what the university is hoping for, is some sort of reimbursement from the federal government. If you guys have been listening or watching the national news about this $1 trillion package that is Congress is trying to get out, that is money that would come to the states. And these are funds that the employer, in this case, the state of Hawaii, has to incur as a result of COVID-19. So it's very important that everyone does fill that out. Clearly, if you're sick, flu or whatever else, you would just sign out for sick leave. If you're going on vacation, if that's even possible nowadays, then you would sign out for vacation. Otherwise, please use the COVID-19 work from home option.
Thanks for bringing that up, Brian. So those folks who are working from home and do get sick while they're at home should sign out for sick leave. This is particularly important also if you're an instructional faculty member who is sick long-term. Your department chair needs to know that, even though you're working from home, because somebody may need to pick up your classes if you're going to be sick for an extended period of time. Nine-month faculty, instructional faculty, does not need to request to work from home. That is what they are not required to do. Because they are delivering their primary responsibilities remotely, we know that you can work from home.
So, sorry, this is Dave again. And I'm sure that email will get to all of us. But so making sure that I understand, I'm one of the individuals that submitted a work from home. It's been approved and there's a work plan. Are you saying then that for every day I'm at home, I need to go into the online system and indicate a COVID-19 work from home did I hear that correctly?
Brian, that one's for you because I didn't see the email.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that question?
So I'm one of the folks, like many around here, that submitted the work from home request, submitted a work plan, and it was approved. So then every day I work, I need to fill out the form that says I am working from home. Did I hear that correctly?
No, not the form. You know how if you would go online onto the online leave system
Sure.
and you would get, you would request sick or vacation leave, there's an option, a drop-down option, and it's called COVID-19 work from home.
Okay, well, that's the form I'm referring to, that when we go in that online system. So, but my question is, I just have to do that for every single day.
That's correct. Or you could do that for the length of your work from home approved plan.
Well,
So
I think
for example, for my staff, they're on a week by week approved plan. So they would do it by week. I'm not sure how long anyone else's approved plan is though.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't aware of a time frame on that. I just kind of thought it's going to be indefinite, not knowing when things are going to ever get back to normal.
No, I think that the plan, the work plan was supposed to be time delimited so that it's not a blanket approval for indefinite. It should be like sort of check in on a weekly basis to make sure that work is being done and update assignments, etc.
I don't know if that was particularly clear, that there was a time frame on that. So.
Well, it's important that the supervisors be checking in with folks on a regular basis to make sure that the work plan that was approved is actually followed through. So you will be needing to check in with the people that are reporting to you. So in the case of a department chair, if there's a secretary, you should be in contact with that secretary on a regular basis to make sure that the work that is assigned is getting done. And so it's that kind of a check-in. And if things need to be updated on the work plan because all of the work that was assigned was done, then you can update whatever the assignments were that were assigned. I'm trying to read this stuff at the same time. There's a student mentioned today, she thinks she may have had COVID last week. I reported this to my DC. DC would like me to ask a student if she's positive. No, I don't think you want to be doing that. I think if the student is positive, the Department of Health would be notifying people, not you.
What'll happen from the DOH, folks, is that nobody should ever get involved with anyone's asking anyone if they have it or anything of that nature. What'll happen is if Mr. X gets COVID and he has a positive test, the DOH will contact Mr. X and then also contact the employer and let us know. And then there's actually a course of investigation that has to happen because the DOH is responsible. They actually have an investigations branch that actually will track the movements of the individual for the period that they believe he was exposed and contracted it. So there's nothing that we should do or would do unless we are authorized by the Department of Health or some sort of other state agency.
Thanks, Brian. There's lots of questions about what should the end date be for leave. I think you guys want to check back in with the person who approved your leave, your supervisor, and check in on what the timeline is going to be for consultations on checking in. Any other questions? Might be done.
I have a quick comment.
Yes, Nava.
So I think for arts and sciences, what I'm gonna try to do is try to get everybody in arts and sciences who needs a form if you folks can get it to me, because for me, I think the Zoom is really great. And I like that people are saying like the service I offer cannot be done anywhere else. But I just have a feeling that this is not even going to become a conversation anymore, that it's something that, you're going to have to stay home. And I just worry about, and I'm sure we're all worried about our folks, but I wouldn't mind trying to see like people work at home to see if it really works and what do they really need. So for arts and sciences, I'm all about, if you need a form, fill the form out, send it to me, let's put together a plan. But I want to see how it works with them being at home and what I need to implement now to make sure they can do it at home. That is just a quick comment.
Thanks. There was a question about, do we need to sign in on weekends? If we can figure out a way for people to sign in electronically, then it would be a good thing to do, as long as the security guys have access to that same Google Doc. But I'll make sure that we give you more information about that tomorrow as we figure that out. Yes, you can pick up stuff. You have faculty and staff have access to their workspaces. Even Friday and going forward, you have access to your workspaces. So if you need stuff in your office, you're welcome to go and pick it up. Take it home if you want to, and then keep it there so that you have it. We're not closing the campus. At this point, we've not been told to shut down the campus. We are offering our services remotely as best as we can, encouraging people not to come to the physical location so that they can be safe in their homes. But you have access to your space. And we will be offering spaces to students and computers to students in the library. The library also has computers for loans so that students who don't have computers might take them. But we also know that students don't necessarily have internet access at home. So if that's the case, they can come to the library. We will be limiting the number of people in the library to maintain social distancing, but there is Wi-Fi accessibility outside of the buildings as well. So they could be sitting under the trees next to Kokio or near Iliahi and still be connected to the internet. If we have to shut down the campus, we continue to offer our services remotely. That is what we are trying to do, is to make sure that as many students as possible can complete their semester. And again, we are trying as best as we can to continue to do the good work. And I thank you all for all that you're doing. One interactive question, this is your chance to try the chat thing if you haven't done it yet. We will be continuing these Zoom updates, and I would like to know how often. We'll do it again tomorrow, quite likely, just to make sure that we've got everything organized as we might want to, and possibly again on Friday. But going forward, starting with next week, we won't be doing them on a day-to-day basis because I don't think things will change on a day-to-day basis. So here's a question to you, and you have two options. You can say one or you can say two. So how many times a week would you like these Zoom meetings? 1 or 2 times a week? Okay, so keep going. There is 150 people. Hi, Maria.
Hi, Luis. For Lisa, who asked about computers, if they can take it home, before they do anything, could they please consult with Carl first?
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to add to that. Again, if staff or faculty want to take their desktop computers in their office home, they will be allowed to do that. All I ask is that you please check with SELT first. What we need to do is inventory the machine, making sure that we know who's taking what. That way, when everybody can come back to campus, we can account for it. We also will be preparing the machines for use at home. There's some network settings we'd have to adjust, and we just want to make your life as easy as possible when you get that machine home. We'll even be providing network cables if you need one.
Okay, thank you, Carl. Looks okay. Now I find out there's a polling feature at Zoom. Oh, only I knew. I'm learning so much about Zoom, and I'm sure you guys are too. So yesterday, Candy showed me how to share my screen. It's like terrific. Learning all the time. Okay, looks like 2 times a week. Of course, if there's an emergency, we'll try to get things out. We need to make sure that we can put this schedule out in enough time for interpreters to be arranged. Let's see. Okay. Anything else that you would like to share right now before we sign off?
I just came from the cacao meeting, and summer decision, I mean, no, not decision. The directive is gonna come out sometime before the end of the day from Dawn's training. I'm just waiting for that one.
Okay. Yeah, Sean, we're going to be talking, we're going to be doing some kind of a online something. Yes, thank you very much. We'll figure that out. You're welcome, Chrissy. Okay, going once, twice. What? Oh no, sorry, we didn't. Question about people who actually have physical checks to pick up. I don't know how many people that is.
That's a very, very small amount. It's less than 30. However, because it is paychecks, normally you would go down to the business office and pick it up. We're going to change that process. We will have some information going out, and it will also be posted on the door. The best, though, is really, if possible, everyone should be on direct deposit at this point in time.
For all those reasons. Yeah. Maria said that there would be something coming out from Don Straney's office about summer, if you missed that. Okay. All right, folks. Until tomorrow, 3:30. And be good to yourself, be good to everybody. And do take care. Okay? Bye, guys. See you tomorrow.
Aloha.
Bye-bye.